Hey, can you guys see me now? Oh, sorry. Hold on.
Baby, baby, won't you listen to me? I got that flavor. I know you're dying to feed. I ain't no dancer, just got some hip in my feet. Now throw your hands up. Ooh, you bring the lighter, I got the fuse. You make a fire, I'll add the fuel. Follow me, lady, just watch your shoes. Gotta turn the heat up to get this cool.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I don't know what's going on with technology tonight, guys. Let me know if you can hear me, see me, all the good things. Oh my goodness. I decided to be in the studio for our informal stream, so I guess it's not so informal, is it? Can you hear me? Live chat, can you hear me? Happy Friday. I hope you guys are having a fantastic Friday. I have a few stories. Can we talk? Can we talk? Because some of these stories, I feel, first of all, it's important to get this one particular health story out there because I think it's going to help a lot of people. And I think a lot of people might be going through things and you've been trying to find an answer. And this might be your answer. If it is your answer, live chat, the people watching the replay of this, let us know. This is where I love having a platform because we can help people. Speaking of which, it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and we're raising money for Black women's health imperative yet again this year. We raised over $3,600 last year. We are currently at 700 and something. As you can see, it's October 25th. I'm not saying that everybody here needs to donate, but if you can forward this video or some of our other videos, he's just on the move. I love when she says sound is sounding. Shout out to our mods. Show love to our mods, people. Anyways, help us reach our goal. 100% of your donation, YouTube giving, gives to the organization. I think that's very important for people to know that 100% of your donation goes to the organization. So thank you to YouTube Giving for helping us help other people, specifically Black women that are greatly and vastly affected by breast cancer. Okay, and not just in diagnosis, but also the fatality rate. Okay. All right, we're going to get into that story in just a second. The other thing, and then I'll get off my soapbox. Vote.org. Make sure, because I know early voting has started in many states. It will be starting here in New York City tomorrow. I might go vote tomorrow, if not Sunday. I want to do early voting just to kind of get ahead of the game. We've been charging to go. Okay, we've been charging to go, for this election, and we are almost there. And the polls, I don't go by the polls. Okay, I'm just gonna go out and vote. And we already told you, I don't know who you voting for. I don't care who you voting for. I mean, I do, but I just want to remind you to make sure that you are taking the opportunity not just to vote for this presidential election, but to vote for your local elections as well. Okay, and whoever's on the ballot in your local elections are definitely going to see record numbers because of the presidential election. Vote.org, check your status. It takes literally seconds. Okay. Dion says they voted. Oh, wait, let me fix this because, I'm doing something a little different today, y'all. A little something different in here. So Dion says I voted. Oh, there we go. I voted in Miami. That's amazing. Florida's a very important state as well. Well, the reason why I bring this up, because originally I wanted to do this story about Charlamagne the God on CNN with Anderson Cooper. And then I got sidetracked because of the Diddy story that I did earlier today. Mods, can you just post a link to the Diddy story that I posted earlier today, just in case you may have missed it? Because YouTube, I never used to believe in what is it called, shadow banning, but that's a real thing. So for those that are subscribed and my videos aren't showing up for you, for those that watch on TikTok and my videos aren't showing, just search for me. Go to my page. Please understand, one thing about me, I'm consistent. So you're going to get a video from me a good majority of the week. So if you missed any of the videos that I posted this week, go to our page and see what you missed, including our live recap. We were earlier we were live recapping the Real Housewives of Orange County. So if you missed that, be sure to check that out. We talked about some side stories there as well. Okay. But Charlamagne the God, he's really made a pivot. Because if you followed his career like I followed his career, because I'm a fan of Wendy Williams, and that's how we were introduced to Charlamagne the God, the way that he has pivoted his career from being this shock jock on radio, a sidekick to Wendy Williams, to being his own voice on The Breakfast Club, having the #1 radio program, morning radio program, to now political commentator. And look, I am never one to be like, oh, we should pay attention to these celebrities that are endorsing political figures. You should be doing your own homework regardless. But the pivot in regards to him being on CNN talking politics, I was like, oh, and actually making sense. Okay, some people might disagree. It's okay. We don't fight. Okay, we don't moderate adults. Calm down. But I thought this was so interesting, the back and forth between Anderson Cooper. I'm so glad that Anderson made it back. He was doing hurricane coverage. Anderson, don't do that again. You got a son. Okay, don't do that again. Okay? All right, let's take a look at what Charlamagne had to say on Anderson Cooper's coverage and CNN's coverage of this recent presidential election.
Apparently Trump's is going to tape a thing with Joe Rogan. Do you think she should do that?
I think that she should keep calling Donald Trump a fascist. And I think that Americans need to keep looking at the rhetoric of Donald Trump, because I don't know why we're even thinking about electing somebody who's talking about putting people in camps. I don't know why why we want to elect somebody who's talking about mass deportation. I don't know why we're having this conversation about somebody who wants to terminate the Constitution to overthrow the results of an election. Aren't we supposed to be a patriotic country? Whenever somebody like Colin Kaepernick takes a knee in this country, everybody talks about, oh, that's so unpatriotic. But a guy can say he wants to terminate the Constitution to overthrow the results of an election and nobody cares. And like even me bringing it up now, you brought it back to Kamala and Joe Rogan. Anderson?
Yeah.
Who gives a damn?
Well, I think you give a damn who's elected president, and
yeah,
I'm
especially if that president is a fascist. That's talking about putting people in camps. That's talking about, once again, terminating the Constitution to overthrow the results of an election. That's talking about, jailing his political opponents. Yeah. Like, that rhetoric doesn't scare people.
Well, we talk about this every single. This is what
I don't think
I've been talking about this every night.
I don't think y'all have enough conversations about it. I feel like I heard more on this network about
Let me take a moment. Please, what did they say? You don't need to announce your exit. You don't need to announce your exit. Please just leave. Thank you. Goodbye.
Harris black than I do about, Donald Trump being a fascist.
Well,
am I wrong, Angela?
Honestly, that's bullshit. I'm sorry.
Oh, I like that.
I'm not. Look, I'm a huge fan of yours.
Okay.
But to say that we're sitting around discussing is Kamala Harris black,
I've seen that. I've seen those roundtable discussions a lot. Now that's bullshit, Anderson. For you to say that y'all don't have those conversations.
I've never asked somebody is.
Oh, I'm not saying you. I said the network.
He said the network.
I don't think anyone I don't think any anchor on this network has been going around saying, "Is she black?"
Y'all have never had
we have had. Look, I'm sure we have had, nutty people or people who have strongly held beliefs who I may disagree with, who somewhere on some panel have said something, but. Yeah. I will just speak up for what I do on the show. I do believe it's important to get people different viewpoints as long as they're willing to have a legitimate conversation. What I don't like are surrogates who come out and just spout talking points that they don't even believe, and those are people I tried to eliminate from having ever on the air again.
I think no network has honest conversations about Donald Trump. Nobody's had honest conversations about Donald Trump since 2016. I saw last night they were talking about, the double standard that exists between Donald Trump and the vice president, but it's always a double standard with Trump, whether it's with Hillary, whether it's, against Biden, now with Kamala. We talk about him being a threat to democracy, but we don't treat him like one.
I don't know what you've been watching.
For me, that was the part that stood out to me. I was like, that's a bar. He said, we say that Donald Trump is a threat to democracy, but we don't treat him like one. I said, well.
But I don't know of any Trump supporters out there or people who like him who are tuning in to me every night to try to get, to be validated in their opinions. I don't know. I don't know. I disagree.
I don't think it's about validating. What do you mean, validating the Trump?
Well, you're saying that we're not. That I guess you're saying I'm not discussing all the things he is saying and doing and pointing it out and talking to what John Kelly. I mean,
it was a humming for me. Look, we don't cover politics all the time here, but please understand. If you do not like what I'm sharing when it comes to a political thing, politics are a part of pop culture, okay? And this is a very important election. And education is very important as well. I will never sit here and tell you who you should vote for, because at the end of the day, you're going to vote for who you want. You're going to vote or not vote. That is up to you. But I will choose to use my platform to remind people that an election is coming up and that they should vote and that they should check to make sure that their voting status is still there. I'm not going to sit here to shuck and jive so that you can stay a subscriber. Move and go away. Oh, sorry. Sorry. Anyways, I saw that clip and I was like, okay. All right, Charlamagne. For me, it was more so about Charlamagne's pivot from just being a pop culture, commentator or a radio shock jock or whatever it may be. So I was sort of like, we got to talk about this. So here we are. Vote.org. Check your voter registration. New York, early voting opens tomorrow. I will see you guys there. Thanks. All right. Moving along, guys, if you haven't already, be sure to like the video. It's easy, it's free, and make sure you subscribe so we can, the people that decide to leave, they can understand no matter if they leave, there are more and more and more coming. All right. Speaking of using our platform for good, Diddy. So we've been covering a lot of the Diddy stories, and yet earlier today we posted a video about a Diddy story, and I didn't believe it. I had to make sure I was like, wait, the Post actually has seen one of the freak off tapes or a few of the freak off tapes. So we did a separate video talking about the Post revealing that they've gotten their hands and viewed actual freak off tapes. So I just want to briefly talk about it. I talk about it extensively in the other video. I just want to highlight certain parts that were mentioned. Okay, so let me just bring this back up in regards to, hold on. I had it and now I lost it. Where was it? Okay. And for those that are wondering if we've covered the whole Jamie Foxx story that's out there, we did in a separate live. So be sure to check out that story. We're not going to cover it again. It hasn't been confirmed whether or not Jamie Foxx actually said this during a live taping, although there are a couple of people that are coming out saying that they did see him, did hear him say this during his taping. Okay, but once it comes out, then we will talk about it. Once it comes out, we'll talk about it, okay? All right. So, according to the Post, they said Sean Diddy Combs' freak-offs often coincided with some of his biggest star-studded parties at the height of his fame, with at least 3 wild parties, we have to call them, freak-offs, taking place hours after major events, according to a trove of video files and documents viewed exclusively by the Post. The clip suggests that these freak-off parties, which federal prosecutors say sometimes involved women who were threatened or coerced to perform grueling hour-long acts, were happening just below the surface as Diddy rubbed elbows with the biggest names in Hollywood, music, and sports. So they're saying that some of these events that we remember Diddy partaking in over the years and having these major parties, that a lot of people say, oh, this person, Ashton Kutcher, was at this party, or this person was at this particular party. Sidebar, now that I'm thinking back on this, I'm wondering if one of the freak-off parties these videos weren't given to the Post to throw people off the scent that, yes, there were, in fact, some celebrities that were in these freak-off tapes. So they were like, okay, let's give them a little something. Because the freak-off tapes that the Post is reporting on involve no celebrities. As you know, just this past week, we were letting you guys know about another lawsuit where a woman claims that when she was 13 years old, after going to an MTV after party, she was awed by another male celebrity while a female celebrity watched. They were not named. And I know everyone is asking, including one of the judges in one of these cases, are saying that the celebrities should be revealed, the other people that were there. We shall see if that will happen. But now I'm starting to think, do you think that this freak-off tape was sent to the Post to throw us off the scent of the celebrities that might be in the other ones? Now y'all got me thinking. This is why I'm still talking about it from today's earlier video, because it made me think to myself, well, you know, this is how you sort of throw people off. This is what happens in the world of entertainment, where they give you a little something, and then in order to feed the curiosity and okay, no celebrities actually attended these events. And all the celebrities that we are alluding to, they were just at these parties, very much like everyone else was at these parties. But when the freak off stuff started, we all left. So that's what the Post was saying earlier in their article, stating that they received some of this footage and they talk about it. I talk about this in a separate video. I'm not going to go through the details of what they saw in the freak off parties. I did talk about that in the other video. Our mods are posting a link to that in the live chat. And if you're watching the replay of this, I'll post a link maybe in the description, or you can just go to our page and you can see it there. So they give you different descriptions of some of the things that they saw in the freak-off tapes. I will preface this to say that nothing that they described in the videos confirms whether or not it wasn't consensual. And that is going to be the job of Diddy's attorneys to determine that these freak-off tapes, these instances that people are claiming against him, was it consensual or wasn't it consensual? That's going to be hard. That's going to be hard to prove. And as you know, Diddy is set to go to court on May 5th of 2025. But first, he's trying to get out of jail, out of the Brooklyn Detention Center. He's trying to get out of there in order for him to prepare for this case. That will be heard on November 4th, his birthday. Do you think that they're going to give him bail? I really don't think they're going to give him bail. He does have a dream team of attorneys working on this case with him, but he's also facing so many lawsuits, civil lawsuits, along with trying to fight this situation. He's going to be broke by the end of this. He's going to be broke by the end of this. And more stories. And honestly, when you look at some of the when you look at some of the parties, and the amount of people that were at these parties, they're like, I'm sure all these people could tell a story. I'm sure all these people can tell a story. So Diddy, one of the freak-off tapes, no, Quincy was not in the freak-off tape, but he was at the party before the alleged freak-offs. And I will say the Post did corroborate dates and events and what people were wearing at these particular events to what they saw in the freak-off tapes. Okay? So, and one of those things that he was wearing was this shirt, God is the greatest. The blasphemy of it all in regards to him saying it. Look. So, again, I feel like more and more stories are going to come out. As you already know, Tony Busby is representing 120 victims. At the time of his press conference, I'm not sure if he's taken on new clients. As you also know, we talked about that other attorney saying that she had seen stills of a freak-off tape, one including a higher profile individual, a higher profile person than Diddy. We don't know if the Post has seen that video footage, but they do mention it in their article. And we told you, we felt it was a little funny of this attorney who's representing a new person, that a new alleged Diddy victim, that has accusations against Diddy. She's still involved in the situation. Okay. All right. Was there anything else that I want to say about Diddy? No. Look, no. If you missed any of our Diddy stories, and like I said before, in the other video, I talked extensively about Diddy. I want to talk about the Solange Knowles story because I don't think people expected Solange, first of all, to confirm in the comment section of someone else telling their health journey. But I want to share that with you guys. But first, let me bring up the thing that I wanted to keep for this. Hold on, y'all. I just want to make sure that I have this when we talk about Solange. All right. Let me bring up, this video that I'm about to play for you guys is pretty long, but it's worth listening to because I feel like it might save a life. Because I think so often when there are misdiagnoses or doctors can't figure out what is going on with you, this, I think, Sean Ross coming out and telling his story about his health journey and him finally figuring out what was wrong with him is really going to save lives. So I said, okay, we need to talk about this. We need to, and for those that are watching this that might feel like you know someone going through something similar, please share it. Please share it. Okay. All right. So let me first go back here. Okay. Let me just share this video. Like I said before, this video is about 12 minutes. Okay. This video is about 12 minutes. Oh, Mama Ali, I didn't even know. Mama Ali says, I have POTS, POTS as they call it, and it's a horrible disease to have. I'll talk about it if needed. Awesome. Awesome. Please do. I will be dropping the call link for you guys to call in and share your thoughts on all the hot topics that we're talking about. But you might remember Sean Ross. And he opened up on his social media, I think it was yesterday, in regards to something that he's been going through health-wise. Take a listen.
My name is Sean Ross, and I have POTS syndrome from long COVID. So I have been putting this story off for a while, and I kind of talked about it about a long time ago when I was trying to figure out what was going on. But then I started to see so many videos of people on social media, especially TikTok, that talk about chronic illness and all these things. And without judging them, I didn't want that to be my identity. So I just kind of ignored it. I never made videos about it. I never talked about it. And yeah, well, here we are. So in 2021 or 2022, the beginning, I kind of believe I got COVID like most of us did. And it was my second time actually getting it. And I recovered very, very fast from it. And for some reason, I want to say in the beginning of that year, I started to get really, really debilitating headaches, to the point where there were migraines. I've never gotten migraines before. My vision started to go blurry. And with the migraines, it was really, really weird because it would be on one side of my head. And I kind of felt okay, well, is this a stroke? Is this an aneurysm? I don't know. I have never, ever felt anything like this ever before. Fast forward, some of you know that I do music. And so I was on tour with Amber Mark at the time. And I remember at the time being on tour and just feeling slightly anxious, but not super, super anxious. But then, I kind of ignored it. Fast forward, we were inside of Seattle and I was sleeping in the bed with my fiance, and my heart started to just race in my sleep. And I'm oh my God, what the hell is going on? Am I having a heart attack? What is going on? So we went to the hospital. Did the EKG, did the whole entire round of tests that you would normally get at a hospital if it's cardiac or cardiac related. And obviously it all came back normal. And I kind of like went on with life, you know, just like being like, okay, well, maybe I was dehydrated. Maybe it was anxiety, like who knows? Fast forward, I ended up finishing that tour, and then I ended up going on tour with Snow Allegra, which was an amazing experience. But a week before that, something interesting happened that has never happened to me ever before. I had a panic attack when I was in the gym. But it was weird. I never had a panic attack. If you know me, I'm not like a very anxious person. I love being around people. I love being in front of people. And yeah, I had an anxiety attack inside of the gym. And that was like the start of what was to become whatever it was. So I was on tour, and you know, more of those episodes started to happen where like my heart would start racing. I just started to feel very, very weird, kind of like disoriented. And I kind of didn't know what it was, but I marked it all up to anxiety because I'm on a big tour. I'm performing for like 4,000 people a night. I'm like, okay, well, it's just anxiety, and it's travel, and it's all this adrenaline and yada, yada, yada. Then the ending of that tour ends, and I have one show left in LA. And for some reason, I went to like rehearsal, and I remember my manager being like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm cool. But like, for some reason, I feel very like dizzy. I feel very dizzy. My eyes feel very like sensitive to like the sun. I don't know what it is. And obviously, you know, and like most people, when you go and you have symptoms like this, you kind of think that you have things like cancer. You have like all kinds of like crazy things, leukemia, like the list goes on. Your brain for some reason automatically goes to cancer. I don't know why. My mom was in town, and my mom, she also like kind of like had like her own stuff with COVID in the past. And she was like, I think you have long COVID. And I'm like, no, mom, like it's not long COVID. It is just anxiety. It has nothing to do with that. And time went past, and things started to get worse. And I started to notice that like I couldn't breathe. As you can tell in this video, like sometimes it feels like I'm a little bit short-winded. And so I felt like I couldn't breathe. I felt like, how would you say? I just felt like there was always something on my chest. I always felt like my breathing was delayed. I felt very, very anxious. It didn't make any sense. For the next few months, I was trying to figure out what was going on. I felt like I had Lyme disease. Again, I said I felt like I had cancer. I felt like I had all of these random things, but what it ended up being. So one day, I started to be inside of these like support groups between Facebook, Reddit, Slack, the list goes on. You could only imagine. Like I was in so many support groups trying to figure out like what is going on with my body. And then one day, I took a shower, and I noticed my heart was racing really, 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 really bad. Between this time and the time where like the symptoms really, really, really started, I was just like going through different episodes. Like I would have panic attacks inside of the elevator. I would have panic attacks, like, you know, if I was out in the sun too long. Like it was just random. Like I didn't know what was going on. Until one day I ended up taking a shower, and, you know, in the shower it's hot because of steam, and my heart was just racing, and to the point where I felt like I had to lay down. And if you know what PVCs are, like kind of like where your heart like kind of like thumps, but like a jerking thump, like slowly, like I don't know, it's hard to explain, but if you know, you know. I was having those, and I kind of like was doing my research, and then the thing that came up was this thing called POTS syndrome. I was like, let me, you know, check my blood pressure. My blood pressure was like normal. I was like, but let me check my blood pressure standing up. And so I noticed that my blood pressure would like raise extremely high when I would stand up. And I'm just like, okay, something is a little bit abnormal. Okay, so like I'm standing up, my blood pressure would read like, I don't know, like 145, 150 over like 98 to 100. Then as soon as I sit down, it's like 117 over like 78, which is normal. And I'm just like, something is wrong. And I noticed when I got up to walk, again, my heart started racing. And that ended up being this period where I was bedbound, which some of you don't know. Some people do know because I don't talk about it. But I was bedbound for 6 months. I was bedbound completely for 6 months. I didn't go outside. Whenever I did, people that know, I had a whole bunch of things to like keep myself calm, from like things to like block out noise from my hearing, things down to like things that I actually still use today that kind of help, like Vicks, which stops like panic attacks if you put it under your nose, breathing inhalers, blood pressure monitor. Like I had a bag, electrolytes, salt tablets, all kinds of, I had a bag of like so many things that I would carry around with me, but people didn't know. Fast forward, I ended up like looking up into this thing called POTS syndrome, which stands for postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, where and it falls underneath the umbrella of what is called dysautonomia. Dysautonomia is the dysfunction of your autonomic nervous system. Your autonomic nervous system controls everything in your body that basically runs automatically, from your breathing, your blood pressure, your heart rate, all kinds of stuff. And so I have this thing called POTS syndrome at the time, where I didn't know like anything about it. I'm just like, what is going on? And so with that being said, for the next few months, bedbound, and I, became very, very, just like sedative, like very, very just like still. At the time I was doing like 200 steps a day, wasn't really doing much, really was like sad because I was trying to figure out what was going on. And fast forward to make the story a little bit shorter, I am better today. I believe I'm better today. And there was no magical cure. I still have POTS syndrome. I still get winded. I still have high blood pressure on standing. And so a lot of people, when they see me DJ and they see me, like, this is why I sit on a stool, because like if I stand up too long, I feel like I'm gonna pass out, yada, yada, yada. But the reason why I made this video was because I'm in my 30s, and weight and image and all of those things take a play in our everyday life. And if you know me, you know that I come from a background of modeling where you're super, super skinny. And right now I'm in my 30s, and I'm got a little hefty, a little chunky. And I get these comments from friends and people inside of the industry where they're like, are you okay? You should lose weight. You should do this, that, and the third. I made this video not to like have any type of sympathy, because I don't feel bad for myself. I love my life. I love how far I've come. I wouldn't say I love the challenge, but I'm thankful for the challenge because it gave me insight on so many things that is just like completely different. But I made the video because you just never know what people are going through. And I see people so often, they judge from the outside perspective, telling me like, oh, you should hit the gym, you should do this, that, and the third. Well, if you knew what I had, you would know that I'm exercise intolerant. And so figuring out how that works for me is my journey. And understanding also too, even without this, your body is going to go through changes throughout life. You're going to become thick, you're going to become skinny, you're going to become scrawny, you're going to become plumped. And the list goes on, and I'm fine with it. But I just wanted to make this video because, like I said, you just never know what someone is going through. And I just often get this question all the time, like, are you okay? I am okay. I'm doing the best that I can for me and what works for me in this current moment in my life. For a lot of people who are watching that may have POTS syndrome, it was funny because at the time when I would go and I would talk to my doctors, they're like, something's not adding up. And at the time, no one was talking about POTS syndrome. This was in 2022. We're now in 2024. And now you see so many things being linked from POTS syndrome to long COVID, and getting POTS syndrome from COVID, and there's different variations. I don't think anybody knew what COVID was actually going to do to us, but I think we're figuring it out. Like, it actually, can change your life completely. With that being said, this is why I DJ. I've always loved house music. I wanted to find something else to do because I do believe that inside of our life that we have so many different career paths. I don't think you should only just do one thing. I think you can do multiple things. And I did not want to just be like this person that feels like, oh, I have to sing, and if I don't sing, my life is completely done. Like, no, like, I'm a talented individual. I can do so many things. And so I just decided to go to my roots from like when my family listened to house music, and I just started to really, really like put my focus on DJing. And that's something that I'm comfortable with doing now. So I just wanted to make this video. Once again, this is not sympathy also, but sympathy for this pimple on my mouth that's drying out. But this video is not for sympathy. This video is simply just so that you can see that there are people out there that are going through things that you may not know nothing about. And this is also for the people that are going through anything that is chronically, anything related under chronic illness, that you can do stuff. You aren't, whatever it is that you have, it isn't you. So I always recommend people it is sometimes mind over matter, and you have to get up and you have to get out and do what you want to do. I didn't make this TikTok because, again, I see so many people who allow their sickness or whatever it is that they're going through, they allow it to become their identity. And I don't want this to be my identity. I just made this video to inform people because we are in a place right now where there's so many people who are going through so many things every single day, and you just never know what someone's going through. So before you make a comment on someone, just because of what you see for face value, just be very, very mindful that you may not know what's going on behind closed doors. With that being said, I'm going to continue to live my life. I'm going to continue to be proud of myself. I'm going to continue to advocate for myself, and I'm going to continue to live my life as normal as possible. We don't know how much time we have left on this earth. So with that being said, I plan on living the rest of my life abundantly and having fun.
Yes. Yes. Come on now. Come on. So I had to comment under, he posted this on Instagram, Sean Ross posted this on Instagram, and he posted this on TikTok. And I had to comment to let him know that you don't even realize the amount of people you're probably going to help, because the way that our medical system is set up, you go through this entire process and you realize this medical system is it's just not, I can't imagine if you are not healthy and you're not feeling well, how you're supposed to advocate for yourself. Because a lot of times people are going into these medical offices on their own, not with family members that can advocate for them. And our medical system is just so messed up that we don't know. We don't know a lot of stuff. And insurance makes it impossible for people to cover certain health things. People do not want to go into the doctor because they're like, oh, I don't have the money for that co-payment or whatever payment I'm going to have to pay for. So I really appreciated him sharing his story, because even in this live chat alone, I saw so many of you saying that, oh, those are my symptoms. Is that what I'm going through? So I think that is part of the reason why I wanted to do this live was to not just, and I attached Solange to it because Solange was in the comment section as well. But I also know that the fact that Solange came out and spoke out about it, it's going to get more press. If Sean Ross had just come out and spoke about this, it's not going to get the same level of press, unfortunately, because he's not the bigger name. I saw in our live chat, some people in small says, thanks for sharing this, Kempire. Invisible illnesses are difficult. I got diagnosed with lupus last year. Another autoimmune disease, hard. A lot of times you go through this entire process where you think you have one thing, and then eventually after years sometimes, finally figure out, oh no, you actually have lupus. Tracy says, his symptoms sound very close to what I'm experiencing. Well, now you have at least a name to bring to a doctor and let them at least rule out, well, no, we don't think it's that. And I've been through some things when it comes to, my own health and doctors. I had to be my own advocate, because a lot of times I was like, well, I'm experiencing this. I think it might be this. And they're like, I don't think it's that. Only for it to be that. Nola says, oh, OMG, I'm hearing symptoms that I've had since a teen, but nobody could figure it out. I just told my doctor about my symptoms again. I will have her look into this. And shout out to the replay crew. I know some of you will see this later and say, I think I know, I might be experiencing that, or I think I know someone that's experiencing the same thing. Mama Ali, who has come out and said that she also has POTS as well. She says that thank you all, but it's what the blue ribbon in my profile stands for. It's like having diabetes, but you don't have enough salt, and you get adrenaline dumps. It's so crazy. I'm going to drop the call link for you guys to call and share your thoughts, but I do want to share what Solange Knowles had to say in regards to this, because she also was in the comment section, and this is what Solange had to say. Let me just bring up this. Hold on. Okay. Solange said this in the comment section. She says, sending you much love and strength, Sean, and to all in the comments struggling with debilitating, confusing, and lonely symptoms of POTS or POTS. I got diagnosed with POTS, Sjogren's, and MCAs in 2018 and really relate to not wanting your health to be your identity. The good folks at Dysautonom, I can't pronounce it, but I will tag them in the description so that you guys can actually go to their website as well, because I wanted to save it as well. She says that this particular organization were really an incredible resource for me, and I feel really grateful for the Spoonie community holding me down during my times of complete uncertainty, sending an abundance of love your way. So here's the thing. Solange Knowles, who I'm sure you all know probably has access to everything and everyone. Solange is Solange, and Solange's sister is Beyonce. Like, I had to think about who's Solange's sister? Beyonce. So they have the millions of dollars, and still they do not get the same level of care here in this country in regards to figuring out what could be going on with them. Solange Knowles also took forever to figure out what was going on with her. So this is why it's important to talk about things like this, and this is why, and he didn't have to. Sean did not have to talk about this at all. Oh, thank you so much, Nika. Nika says it's the organization Dysautonomia. I have their Instagram open here, don't I? Yes, I do. I have it right here. Here. It's called Dysautonomia International. It's a charity organization. I will post, actually, I'm going to post it in the live chat right now so that you guys can have a link to it. Okay, this is the org. Okay, I just posted it in the live chat, and I will be posting it in the description so that for those that might feel as if your symptoms might be similar, here is a resource. This is a resource that was shared by Solange Knowles, who has come out saying that she also had this debilitating disease, along with some other things that she revealed. And she said she was diagnosed back in 2018. I think it also makes you wonder, is this part of the reason why Solange isn't out in the public as much as people would hope that she would be? Well, I'm not done in regards to talking a little bit more about Solange's health journey, because People Magazine, first of all, People Magazine explains, for those that are still wondering, what the hell is this disease. Okay, they posted it. Hold on. Okay, so they said per the Mayo Clinic, POTS affects the autonomic nervous system, which controls involuntary functions such as heart rate and blood pressure. That's crazy. So they're saying this POTS affects the autonomic nervous system, which controls involuntary body functions such as heart rate and blood pressure. And I'm butchering the names, and I apologize if you're new here. I'm not great with the pronunciation of certain words, so I'm just going to spell it. Okay, I'll just spell it. SJOGREN syndrome is, quote, a disorder of your immune system identified by its two most common symptoms, dry eyes and a dry mouth. According to the Mayo Clinic, while the National Institutes of Health claims that with MCAS, mast cells mistakenly release too many chemical agents, resulting in symptoms in the skin, gastrointestinal tract, heart, respiratory, and neurologic systems. So these are some of the things that Solange revealed that she was diagnosed with in the comment section of Sean Ross's video. But People Magazine reminds us, they said Knowles hasn't spoken much about her health journey in the past, but did reveal in December of 2017. So remember, she said she was diagnosed in 2018. So that she had to cancel her New Year's Eve performance at Afropunk Fest in South Africa due to an autonomic disorder she had been quietly treating for the past 5 months. The musician wrote in a since deleted post, "It's been a journey that hasn't been easy on me. Sometimes I feel cool and other times not so cool at all." She explained at the time that her diagnosis was complicated and that she was still learning so much herself, without revealing what type of autonomic disorder she had been diagnosed with. In November of 2017, Knowles also canceled her performance at a Florida State University's homecoming concert due to, quote, a medical condition. A statement shared by WTXL confirmed at the time. And that's the thing. I think with this particular disease, she probably doesn't know when she's going to feel good. You heard what Sean had to say in his own video. Miss Cruzen says, if your doctor is not taking you seriously, please seek a second, third, and fourth opinion and do your own diligence. And I think when you start opening up to other people, you would be shocked at how other people are going through what you're going through or have gone through what you've gone through. And I wouldn't be surprised that now that Sean has come out, that Solange probably has reached out. I have this particular doctor or this particular specialist that you can connect with. And I love the fact that in Solange's comment, she actually tagged the organization. So I know a lot of people, now that we're talking about this, will go to the organization and seek the help that they will need. At least they can rule out one other thing. One other thing. Oh, thank you, Tanya, because you know I was struggling. She says it's pronounced Sjogren's. Thank you, Sjogren's. Look, I'm still learning. I'm still learning. Oh, I didn't know that. Sharon says Venus Williams has Sjogren's as well. Wow. Okay. All right. I'm going to drop the call link for those that want to call in and share their thoughts. All right. Shout out to everyone watching on Twitch and Twitter as well. We appreciate you guys. We are live from YouTube. This is a late night live. I just decided because I thought this was I still think that this is such an important story, and I think that people that hear this story will be helped. And the fact that people already in the live chat are saying that might be me, I'm going to check with my doctor, says to me, I thought correctly. So let me just drop the call-in link on the... Hold on. I'm going to just drop this on the community tab. If you're a member, I'm going to drop it on the community tab first. Live chat, we have over 1,300 of you watching. Let's get the lights up. Let's get to 500 likes, and I'll drop the call link for you guys. But if you're a member of the channel, I'm dropping the call-in link on the community tab. Hold on. Let me just delete that. Okay. All right. Call-in link. There we go. And if you're part of the replay crew, be sure to let us know your thoughts and opinions and reactions to some of the stories that we've covered here this evening. Happy Friday. It's definitely feeling like Freaky Friday. I don't know about y'all. Today just feels like one of those Fridays. But I'm good. I'm happy and I'm healthy. And I'm glad to be here with you guys. I hope you guys are feeling good as well. Yes, organic food is the only way. Yeah, our diet, that's very, very important. But I also understand the challenges of having a healthy diet in America. Because, yes, we have access to the information, but do we all have access to the proper foods in our neighborhoods? That is also another question. And even some of the places that you think are completely organic, we have to remember the word organic doesn't really mean what it's supposed to mean. So keep that in mind as well. All right. Live chat. We're almost at 500 likes. If you're a member, we have posted the call-in link on the community tab. Let me just make sure I covered everything that I wanted to cover. Okay, we talked about Diddy. We talked about Charlamagne. Got y'all all riled up. And then we talked about Solange. Okay. Cynthia says a plant-based diet as well. Again, access. This is all great information, but it's also about access. Exactly. Elizabeth says organic food in America is not organic. I mean, you can find organic food in America, but just because they say organic doesn't necessarily mean it's actually organic by definition. All right. Zoe's backstage calling. Zoe, it's like 4 a.m. where you're calling from. Let me just bring you up very quickly. Hold on. There we go. Zoe, what did you want to share?
How you doing, Kempire?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
I know it's 4:06 now. I'm like, why am I awake? It's a Saturday morning, As for me, it's a weekend. I'm like, thank God I have nowhere else to be but to indulge in this because I'm always missing your chats.
I
So
know.
I always get them in the morning. You know, when I'm like getting ready for work.
Yeah.
At 7 a.m., there's like, oh, Kempire was live 3 hours ago. I'm like, what the hell? I was sleeping. So I want to listen to you when I take a shower and drive to work.
Yeah.
But, bruh, I'm sorry, but I have no comment to what you talk about today. I am here to just beg and plead with you to say, yo, even though New York is a snooze fest, I do feel like there's a lot we can talk about because yes, the girls are not doing their best on the show, but what we viewers are saying and what we're criticizing is worth a chat
Mm.
because it's a lot that we are seeing that can help producers and the cast know what to not do because this is like the first reboot without the OGs like ever. So it's just like an experiment for
Okay.
me, I'm like, let's experience it and share our views. There's a lot going on over there. I have so much to say. And then as to the plant based, it's nice to say eat healthy and all of that. Honey, I live in Africa and trust me, we're all obese over here because healthy food is not an easy access. Like
Mm.
staying young and healthy, it requires a whole lot of money. It's not easy as people say it is.
Mm.
And as for pre Diddy, I just want someone to just let's just DM me the videotapes. I'm tired of the conspiracy theories on who done what with who. Just send me a DM. I promise I will not share. But outside of that, I will keep on watching you as I take a shower, getting ready to work. I don't think I'll be doing this and staying all up until 4 a.m. Outside of that, I love you and I love the community.
Thank you,
See you
Zoe.
next
Take
time.
care,
Good
Zoe.
night.
Bye. 4 a.m. in South Africa. Let me just say thank you so much, Kaylee. Kaylee says, Kempire, you're truly an angel. You have such a large platform and you use it to do good. I probably wouldn't have seen that video he posted had you not shared it with us. Thanks for being you. Thank you so much, Kaylee. And that's what I was thinking. I was thinking to myself, I was like, we got to talk about this because I know there are a lot of people walking around feeling ill, not feeling well, not feeling heard. And maybe this might be what they're going through. And also, the other important thing that he mentioned, very much like what a lot of people pointed out with Chadwick Boseman, people had a lot of comments about Chadwick Boseman's appearance, only for us to find out he was battling cancer and he died. And people make a lot of judgments and comments about people's appearance, not realizing that could be going through something. And Sean Robinson, I had to say to myself, wait, I know Sean Robinson. He looks familiar. And I was like, oh, that's why I showed you guys the photo of Sean. All right. Ann, thank you so much for the super chat. Ann says, thank you for bringing awareness, Dr. Not Dr. Kemp. But I did tell you guys, when I get my honorary doctorate, you will be calling me Dr. Kemp. Anyways, Judge Evie's court. Thank you so Judge, are you ever really a court? We must all pray round chair and expect the unexpected. Oh, look, thank you for the super chat. Thank you. All right, guys, we're almost at 500 likes. I'm going to drop the call-in link in just a second, but Mama Ali opened up about her own experience with POTS in the live chat, so I'm going to bring her up next. Hey, Mama Ali, what's going on?
Hey, how are you?
I'm fantastic. Long time no speak, I feel like, even though we text
I know
and stuff,
it's
but
been a crazy couple of months for me. But
yeah.
yeah, I'm here and I'm ready to talk about POTS. Whatever questions you have, whatever you want to talk about,
What
go ahead.
do you and of course anything that you do not feel comfortable answering, please just tell us that because
Oh,
I know you share a
me.
lot. But just in case.
I'm an open book. I will tell you everything.
How long have you
down
been
to the nitty-gritty.
diagnosed?
I was diagnosed 5 years ago.
Okay.
Sorry, I don't have my teeth in, everybody.
It's
Since
okay.
my accident, I've been having issues with my teeth. But yeah, I was diagnosed 5 years ago. I never heard of it. The doctor looked at me and said, "Have you ever heard of POTS?" And I was like, "Sure, I've heard of pot." What are you talking about? I don't do it, but I've heard of it. And the doctor was like, no, POTS, plural. And I sat there and Justin and I did massive research on it,
Yeah.
and we realized that this was something that I was going to live with the rest of my life.
Wow.
And it was crazy. It
Can I
it
ask you?
totally changes your life. It really does.
Can I ask you though? You know, bravo to your doctor for diagnosing you. But how long did it take before you figured out what was going on with you? Like, what were you experiencing physically?
For me, it took about a year.
Okay.
And that's uncommon. I will tell you,
Mm,
that's uncommon. Please don't assume it'll take a year for you.
mm,
It takes a long time to be diagnosed with it.
mm,
It's kind of like endometriosis, where your doctors know it exists. They know that you have symptoms, but that's not the first thing they jump to.
yeah.
Um, I was, I had gone in for heart disease. I had heart disease from a child, and they went through my medical records, and they said, well, you have this, and you have this, and you have this, and you have tachycardia, and you have just all this stuff that didn't make sense. And the cardiologist decided to do a 2 week uh what do you call it, uh a 2 week monitor,
Oh, okay.
heart
Heart
monitor.
monitor. Okay.
So I was 2 weeks, I was on a monitor, and when I came back, he was like, well, you're showing signs of this, you're showing signs of that, but we really need to talk about POTS. And again, I was like, well, what's POTS?
Mm,
I know what pot is. I don't know what POTS is. And he was like, no, we really need to discuss this. And he went through this list of do you haves,
okay.
and I did. I had all of it. I had tachycardia. I had AFib every once in a
Wow.
very, very rarely, but I had AFib.
Mm,
I had palpitations. I had, when I would stand up, when I would sit down, when I would lay down, when I
wow.
just any type of movement other than regular, just plain old movement.
Mm,
That's the best way I can describe it.
yeah.
I would pass out. And I was at my niece's dedication at church, and I passed out. I literally, I was standing up, and then I remember laying on the floor thinking, well, where's my husband?
Mm,
And, and then Justin standing over me going, I'm right here, hon. What happened? And I had no idea what happened.
wow.
And it was that sort of incident that kept happening, where the doctor was like, no, this is something more.
Mm,
And you do a tilt table test is what it's called, where they stand you up, they lay you down, they tip you upside down, and they don't have to do it. Now, don't, if you're someone who thinks you have it, don't let a doctor say you have to have a tilt table test, because you don't.
oh,
In this day and age, you do not have to have one.
okay.
Does it help? Yes, it helps a lot. Is it a deciding factor? No, it's not.
So,
And
after you were diagnosed, for those that are just joining us, we're talking about Sean
yeah,
Ross coming out, being diagnosed with POTS. Solange Knowles also confirmed that she also has been diagnosed with POTS. So Mama Ali, one of our King's Guards, says that I also have been diagnosed with POTS. So she's talking about her experience. So after he gave you that diagnosis, is there a treatment plan?
it's kind of like I said in chat. It's kind of like diabetes, where instead of lacking sugar, you lack salt. And
Mm,
so I choose, and this is my treatment. I'm not saying it's for everyone. I'm not saying go off of it. In fact, I suggest you talk to your doctor at
Always.
length about it.
Always.
But I take what are called salt sticks, and they're pills that are salt. It's just pure, straight up sodium. And I take those at night when I take my diabetic medicine.
Okay.
And it helps me in the mornings. I'm not as woozy. I'm not confused. I'm not disoriented. I can get up and go to the bathroom without any confusion about what's going on. My husband knows what's going on. It's general. It's literally a salt pill.
And this was what your doctor recommended after he diagnosed
Yes,
you with
it is
POTS.
what my doctor recommended. I mean, they recommended a diet change and all this other
Okay.
stuff. But
When they say diet change, what kind of? I mean, very briefly.
They told me to increase my salt intake.
Oh.
So I was told to, instead of buying low sodium, buy high sodium. And me being the health nut that I am, I hated that. I hated that idea. So I spoke to my doctor again, and I said, "What else can I do?" And he said, "Try the Salt Stick brand." Salt Stick, just as it's spelled, SALTSTICK. And I take one tablet at night, and I do fine the next day. You know, I am fine. Very rarely do I pass out. Now, I don't do stairs. The last time I did stairs, because stairs can really mess up your just everything. It just messes with you. I was going on a what is it? You asked me the other day if you could send me a
I can't even remember. You know me.
I can't remember. I cannot remember. It's late. It's late here. I'm sorry.
It's late
I'm
here
tired.
too. It's what 10:18 here in New York City.
Yeah. But I went and did a for Pete's sake, I can't remember.
okay.
Where they do your for Pete's sake, I can't remember.
Oh, it was one of the salt rooms?
No, the where they do your chart and everything else.
Your birth chart?
Well, yeah, but it's where they do it, and it's I can't remember. I really can't remember.
It's okay.
I'm sorry. I just got back from this trip, and my brain is fried.
It's fine. It's fine. But we appreciate you calling in and sharing your diagnosis, your experience.
I got back from that, and I went up her stairs, and I passed out. I literally passed out, and Justin had to come in and get me.
Wow.
And she was just completely dumbfounded that I passed out, and it was because of the POTS.
Wow.
And you just, if you think you have POTS, and I will really stress that COVID has increased the amount of POTS diagnosis there are. If you think you have it, talk to your doctor.
Yeah.
And research it, talk to your doctor, go in with a list of, I have X, Y, and Z, and I'm not leaving here until you tell me what's going on.
Yeah.
And you really have to be your own advocate, because I tell you what, it changed my life, and it changed our entire family's life. My in-laws even know what to do now. You know, and that's crazy for my in-laws to know what to do when I'm having a POTS attack. You know, it's just, it really is something that if you're going to live with it, if you have to live with it, you have to live with it. And that's the thing is you have to be able to look at the doctor and say, this is what's going on.
Yeah.
And I'm not walking out of here without some sort of information about how to deal with it.
Definitely. Mama Allie, thank you so much for calling in and
No
sharing your
problem.
experience. I know you're going to help a lot of people.
I hope I do, because it's one of those things. It's like I said, it's like endometriosis. When you live with it, you live with it.
No.
And when you're questioning it, you're scared.
Yeah.
And don't be scared, because it's a livable, treatable illness. And you can do it. You can really do it. You can do it.
Wow. Thank you, Mama Allie.
You just have to get that diagnosis. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
So have a good night.
You too. Bye-bye. See, I didn't even know. Look, I didn't even know my own mom had POTS. Desti says, there was a time when POTS was controversial. Now it's so easy to diagnose. They say they used to say POTS people were crazy. Well, I can understand why when you think about the symptoms, because the symptoms are hard to navigate. And as Mama Ali said, a lot of times they try to rule out anything cardiac because that's how it shows up. As you saw in Sean Robinson's video that we just showed you, he talked about a lot of the symptoms made him think that cancer. He also thought he was having an anxiety attack. So who knows? Who knows? But like I said, I feel the fact that we are talking about it. And again, feel free to share this video or Sean's video with a family member or friend that you think that might be struggling with something. At least be able to rule something out. And this sounds like one of those particular things that you wouldn't know about it unless someone brought it to you. And after I listened to his video and I watched his video, I said, that sounds so hard to diagnose. Like there's so many disorders like lupus, like there's a lot of autoimmune disease. I had a friend pass away from scleroderma. Before she even got to the diagnosis of scleroderma, she was diagnosed with so many other things before she got the proper treatment, which sometimes can cause your whatever issue that you're dealing with to become a lot worse. So spread the word, share this information. I appreciate you guys taking time out of your Friday evening to spend with us. Shout out to our King's Guards, our live chat members, our subscribers, those of you watching in the bushes. We appreciate you. To those that unsubscribe, nice knowing you, not really knowing you. It's fine. Don't forget, vote.org, check your registration. And don't forget, it is still Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We are still raising money for Black Women's Health Imperative this month. We are very far from our goal of $2,500. I mean, I would love to beat our goal from $36 from last year, but I will say I started late this month. But I would love for us to reach our goal of $2,500. 100% of your 100% of your donation goes to the organization. 100%. So thank you to YouTube Giving for doing that. So I will be posting the link here, but if you go check any of our last videos, you'll be able to donate on any of those. But if you're watching the replay of this, you'll be able to donate anywhere here. Look, anywhere here. Okay? All right. Thank you all for being here. I hope you guys have a good rest of your night. I'm going to take some good mental health time and go rest and relax, relate, release. All right. All right. Anyways, I hope you guys have a great rest of your evening. Bye, y'all. Let's get out of here.